1946. Texarkana, a town split by a state line, but united by a shadow of fear that crept into every home after dark. The Phantom, they called him. A name whispered in terror, his presence felt, but never seen. An unseen predator haunting the streets. Fear grew with every headline. The police were outmatched, chasing a ghost who vanished like smoke, leaving only dread behind. The Texas Rangers arrived, determined to restore order. But even they seemed lost in the fog of suspicion and panic. I came as an outsider, curious and naive. But in Texarkana, no one stayed a bystander for long. The darkness pulled us all in. Her name was Eleanor. She was my anchor in that anxious town. That night, we escaped in my old Ford, leaving behind the watchful eyes and whispered warnings. We found a lover's lane, a sanctuary, but also a risk. The car stopped in a clearing, surrounded by silent, watchful trees. For a moment, it felt safe. The town's fear seemed far away. We talked about anything but the Phantom, though his presence lingered in every glance at the woods. The trees felt like sentinels, the darkness absolute. Eleanor rested her head on my shoulder. The radio crackled softly. We thought we were hidden, safe, but the sanctuary we found was the Phantom's hunting ground. It began with a subtle sound, tap, tap, tap against the window. At first, I dismissed it as a branch or an insect, but the tapping grew louder, more deliberate. My blood ran cold. Eleanor noticed, fear flickering in her eyes. The silence outside was suffocating, even the crickets had stopped. "Did you hear that?" I whispered. She nodded, eyes wide, then tap, 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 louder, insistent. There was no mistaking it now, a knuckle on glass. The bubble of safety burst. The Phantom was here. Fear paralyzed us, every rational thought fleeing. The name echoed in my mind, the Phantom. We were no longer alone. The polite tapping was just the beginning. My trembling hand, slick with a cold sweat born of pure dread, reached for the headlights, a desperate attempt to pierce the oppressive darkness that had enveloped us. The beams, weak and wavering at first, cut through the darkness, pushing back against the suffocating blackness of the forest, revealing a figure standing motionless at the very edge of the clearing, a silent sentinel in the night. Tall, broad, a hulking silhouette against the backdrop of ancient trees, a white sack pulled over his head, obscuring any semblance of humanity. Crude holes for eyes stared back at us, vacant and unsettling. The Phantom. He stood motionless, an unnerving stillness that amplified the terror radiating from him, a nightmare made real, standing before us in the flesh. The radio crackled with static, a discordant symphony of interference, a dispatcher's voice breaking through the noise, distorted and urgent. "Disturbance! Spring Lake Road! Proceed with caution!" Relief flickered, a fragile spark in the overwhelming darkness. As a red police light appeared in the distance, a beacon of hope in the encroaching despair, weaving through the trees, growing brighter with each passing second. But the horror only deepened, twisting the fragile hope into something grotesque. Our terror was now a spectacle, a macabre performance for an unseen audience. The Phantom stepped back, retreating into the shadows from whence he came, melting into the shadows, becoming one with the darkness that clung to the forest floor, vanishing as the police arrived, their presence doing little to dispel the lingering dread. The woods swallowed him whole, erasing any trace of his existence. The officers found us frozen, paralyzed by fear, staring at empty space, the void where the Phantom had stood moments before. The only sound was the mocking static from the radio, a constant reminder of the unseen forces at play. The Phantom was gone, vanished without a trace, but his presence lingered, a chilling reminder of the darkness that resided just beyond the edge of the light. The aftermath was a blur, a whirlwind of confusion and fear that seemed to stretch on endlessly. Police questions, relentless and probing, trying to piece together the fragments of our shattered reality. Scratchy blankets offering little comfort against the bone-deep chill of what we had experienced. Bitter coffee. It was a constant companion, a desperate attempt to stay awake, to stay alert, to keep the nightmares at bay. We described a shadow tall, masked, a figure of pure dread that haunted our waking hours and invaded our dreams. terrifyingly still. An unnerving presence that seemed to defy the very laws of nature. We were lucky, spared, but marked forever. The invisible scars ran deep, etched into our souls. Eleanor and I drifted apart, the memory a chasm between us, a silent, unbridgeable divide. The phantom had murdered our innocence, stolen it in the dead of night, leaving behind only fear and regret. Decades passed, the attacks stopped. The terror seemed to fade into the background. He was never caught. Justice remained elusive, a phantom itself. For the town, he became a legend, a boogeyman whispered about in hushed tones. For us, he was a fact, a chilling reality that refused to be dismissed. I still check the locks twice, still feel a chill on lonely roads. The past is always present, lurking just beneath the surface. They say the phantom is gone, but I know better. He remains in the darkness, in memory, in the tapping at a window on a stormy night. I survived the phantom, but a part of me never left that clearing. It's still there, trapped in the darkness, forever reliving that night.